It started with a sound. Not the kind you brush off at night and blame on old pipes or neighbors. This was different. Specific. Purposeful. It was 3:12 a.m., late January 2025, in Portland, Oregon, when Liam was jolted awake by what sounded like a soft whisper, not from outside, but from somewhere inside his apartment. He lived alone. 3rd floor. Unit 3B. No pets, no visitors, no reason for anyone else to be there. For weeks, things had felt off. A door slightly ajar when he swore he'd closed it. The kitchen faucet dripping again, even after he'd fixed it. His keys missing for hours, only to be found right where he knew he'd left them. It wasn't just paranoia. Something was wrong. But that night was different. The whisper was followed by the unmistakable creak of floorboards, his floorboards. Someone was walking, slowly, deliberately, just outside his bedroom door. Frozen, Liam barely breathed. He stared at the door, half expecting it to open. But it didn't. The sound stopped. The next morning, he bought a hidden camera. 2, actually. He wasn't crazy, and he needed proof for himself more than anyone else. He set one up in the hallway, the other facing the small living room. Both were motion triggered and linked to his phone. Days passed. Nothing unusual. He almost started to believe he was imagining it. Until February 2nd. At 2:47 a.m., Liam's phone buzzed. Motion detected. What he saw nearly made him drop the phone. There was a man. A pale, thin man in a hoodie, standing in the middle of his apartment. His head was tilted, as if listening for something. Then he moved, slowly, toward Liam's bedroom. Liam had never seen this man before in his life. He immediately locked his bedroom door and called 911, whispering every word. When police arrived minutes later, they found nothing. Every door was locked. Every window secured. No sign of a break-in. No one inside. But the footage was real. The police watched it. They took it seriously. That night, Liam didn't sleep. 2 nights later, it happened again. The man returned. Same clothes. Same slow movements. But this time, he didn't approach the bedroom. He walked into the kitchen. Opened drawers. Sat at the table, and stared at the camera, for 6 full minutes. Police again found nothing. Liam moved out the next day. Left everything. Never came back. They never identified the man. No fingerprints. No forced entry. No sightings. Some officers believed Liam was being stalked by someone who had a key. Others thought it was a squatter living in the attic. But Liam's apartment had no attic. No crawl space. No access points at all, just the door he always locked. To this day, the footage exists. Blurry, grainy, but undeniable. And if you ever rent Unit 3B in that quiet Portland building, remember one thing. He never took anything. He never said a word. He only watched. I used to stay at my grandfather's cabin deep in the woods of northern Michigan. No Wi-Fi, no cell service, just trees and silence. It was supposed to be a place to disconnect, reset, but during my last visit. I think I found something, or someone, hiding inside. It started with small things, food from the fridge disappearing, lights I swear I turned off. Being on the next morning, at first, I thought maybe I was just tired. Or maybe raccoons, but then I started hearing the footsteps. At 3 a.m., soft creaks. Like someone was walking down the hallway outside my bedroom. I'd get up with a flashlight, heart pounding, but there was never anyone there. I locked the door at night. I made sure every window was sealed. Still, the noises continued. Sometimes, I'd wake up to hear slow breathing just outside the door. One night, I nailed the bedroom door shut from the inside. That's when it got worse. I heard a whisper. It was so faint I thought I imagined it, but the voice said, "You're not alone." The next morning, I packed my things to leave, but I had to find out what was going on. There was this strange patch in the wall near the living room. The wood there was hollow. I pried it open with a crowbar. There was a man, curled inside a hidden crawlspace, eyes wide, skin pale, wearing my clothes. He didn't say a word. Just stared. I ran. Called the police from the main road. They never found him. But they said the crawlspace had signs of long-term living, food wrappers, water bottles. And photos of me, sleeping. I haven't gone back since. It happened in 2008, when I had just moved into a small one-bedroom apartment in Portland. I was 24, fresh out of college, and ready to start a new job. The place wasn't much, creaky floors, old plumbing, and a weird chill in the air, but it was cheap and quiet, which is all I needed. For the first week, everything was fine. I was adjusting, unpacking, getting used to the neighborhood. But one night, around 2:30 a.m., I woke up for no clear reason. No sounds. No nightmares. Just awake. Something felt off. I glanced toward the window across the room, and I swear I saw a man standing outside, staring in. He wasn't moving. Just standing there. Watching, I froze. My breath caught in my throat. I live on the second floor. I blinked. He was gone. I tried to convince myself I was dreaming, or maybe there was a shadow, or something. I didn't even get out of bed. I just lay there, heart pounding, until the sun came up. Over the next few nights, I started waking up around the same time. 2:30 a.m. Every single time. Sometimes, the curtain would move slightly, like it was being touched. Once, I found it open in the morning, even though I never open it. It faces an alley with no foot access. I started hearing noises, light tapping on the window, faint whispers, creaks in the hallway outside. But the building was old. I told myself it was settling, or the pipes. Then came the night I'll never forget. I woke up again. 2:33 a.m. This time, the curtain was already wide open, and there he was, the same man, pale, eyes dark and sunken, pressed up against the glass from the outside. On the second floor. His mouth was open like he was screaming, but there was no sound. I screamed. I scrambled out of bed and ran to the door. But it was locked. Deadbolt, too. I didn't hear anyone run off. No footsteps. No sound at all. When I finally got the courage to look again, he was gone. No one was outside. No ladder. No sign of anyone. I filed a report with the building manager, but no one else had seen anything. And of course, security cameras weren't working. I moved out 2 days later. Years later, I talked to a guy who used to live in that same apartment. I didn't tell him what I saw. But he looked at me and said, "Did you ever see the man at the window?" This story was based on a real incident reported anonymously in 2008 on a local paranormal blog. The building has since been renovated, but the apartment? Still vacant.